What's going on, wrestling family? Welcome back to the channel. I'm sorry about the lighting for new people, for current people. I just woke up, but also we got some things going on in recording area, so I kind of had to do it in the closet. And by the way, back here, don't worry, I'm not in jail. I got my freedoms. I'm good to go. But let's get to the topic at hand. And the question is, who is going to be the final members of Bianca Belair's team for War Games? Okay, I think I have an answer for it, but let's talk about it before we get into this. Hit that subscribe button and let's talk about what led up to this situation. So if you didn't watch SmackDown, Damage Control was out in the ring and Kairi Sane came out and basically told Bayley, hey, I don't care if you smashed my muffin into a ladder. You almost murdered me. You almost fractured my skull. You almost gave me a concussion. I forgive you. And then all the ladies hugged it out, and it seems like Kairi Sane is a part of Damage Control, at least temporarily for the War Games, and we'll see what happens in the future. I feel like she's going to turn on Bayley and things like that, but we'll talk about that in a whole different video. So eventually, here comes Bianca Belair coming down the ramp, looking the way she want to look. And no disrespect to Montez Ford. Disrespect to Montez Ford. No disrespect to Montez Ford. You already know, bro. Like, don't act like you don't know. But anyway, she comes out to the ring and basically tells Io Sky, hey, I thought you was woman enough to face me one-on-one, but oops, I guess I'm wrong. She hit her with one of the things that ladies hits guys with that is completely undefeated. Guys never fall for this, okay? Because they will pull your feelings out and pick you apart and say, hey, I thought you was man enough to change the tower. Oops, I guess not. I guess I gotta go talk to Jared. Don't fall for that, guys, okay? But this did not work on Io Sky. And here's the thing that Bianca Belair said that was kind of interesting, and maybe it's because I'm looking too deep into it, but common sense told us when she said, I will go against me and all three of you guys. Of course, common sense is telling us that she's talking about Damage Control. Now, when she said three of them, I'm not a math major, but when I heard three and I looked at the ring, there was four ladies in the ring, and it was obvious she was addressing Damage Control, Io Sky, Dakota Kai, and Bayley. But part of me was like, I know Dakota Kai announced in her stream that she wouldn't be available for in-ring wrestling until later on in January 2024 or maybe early February. So I'm like, okay, is there a possibility she's just talking about Kairi Sane, Bayley, and Io Sky because Dakota Kai can't wrestle? But I think, common sense would tell us that, hey, she's talking about Damage Control. Eventually, Charlotte comes out. As usual, she's always involved in everything. So I have like a hate-love relationship with her because sometimes I get tired of seeing her all the time. But at the same time, she's a great wrestler. So what can you do? Okay. And then eventually, we had Asuka comes out. So it looks like that was their three team. And obviously, Asuka has history with Io Sky, which they had a team called the Kabuki Warriors. And her and Kairi Sane, they got history as well. So it made sense. So it was interesting because I'm like, okay, is it going to be a 3-on-3? Because typically War Games is usually either 4-on-4, most of the time 5-on-5. So we're getting a 3-on-3 thing, or we're getting a surprise guest for Bianca Belair's team. Now, eventually down the line and on SmackDown, Asuka betrays Bianca Belair. Now, every time I see them around each other, I always think about the WrestleMania match, and I understand that Bianca Belair, she had a girl there. Her mom passed away, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And she won that match, kind of, giving some inspiration to that girl as well. And that's not taking anything away from that little girl. Prayers out to her and her family. That's a crazy thing to deal with. But I still feel like to this day, inside of me, okay, I feel like, Paul, I feel like that Asuka should have won that match, especially with the Miz, especially with the Great Muta going into the Hall of Fame. That would have been a great tribute to him and a great moment for her to win at WrestleMania. I would have loved that so much for Asuka. But hey, what can you do? But anyway, back to the subject, okay? So Asuka betrayed Bianca Belair, and seemingly she joins Damage Control. Now, the interesting thing here is now Damage Control has a fifth member. And Team Bianca Belair only has two people, which is her and Charlotte. And I don't know if you can trust Charlotte too much, but, I don't think she's going to do anything crazy, maybe until War Games, if she is going to do anything. But that leaves it open. So this is how I think they should do it. I think they should just do 4-on-4, right? If Dakota Kai is not ready, I think this is the way that they should actually do it, okay? So let's try to think about who the next two members could be for Bianca Belair's team. And the third member of her team, the only person I can think of, and let's just do a pseudo fifth in case there is a fifth member, in case Dakota Kai is somehow miraculously cleared to wrestle at War Games. So I think the third member of their team actually should be Shotzi Blackheart, because Shotzi Blackheart already has history with Damage Control. It looks like people's past is starting to hunt them and come back. So I think Shotzi would be a clear and easy choice. I'm not sure if she's injured or anything like that. I know she was at Halloween Havoc, but I don't know. I didn't really look into it, which I probably should have did before this video started. But I'm sure that she's doing okay. I'm sure she is. So she should be a part of that match. And if you want to talk about a fourth member, we're talking about people like Bianca Belair, who has a history with damage control. We got Shotzi Blackheart, who has a history with damage control. Specifically Bayley. These are people who have issues with specifically Bayley. And some, you know, maybe that has some things with Io Sky, like Bianca Belair, obviously. But we don't have anyone here who has a storyline that involves Dakota Kai at this point. Dakota Kai is just kind of sitting in the back, letting everybody argue. She's kind of, you know, the peacemaker and things like that. So in saying that, what they should do is add Tegan Nox to their thing, because they've had history. I've seen that live. I was there when it happened, where Dakota Kai, which at the moment she was crazy Coda, went into the cage and pretty much smashed Tegan Nox muffin everywhere inside of that cage and just destroyed her right then and there, even in NXT. So that'll be a great way to circle back to their feud they had in NXT, where Tegan Nox was like, hey, I haven't forgot what happened. Basically the same thing that Kairi Sane, you know, already has that storyline with Bayley. I think that'll be interesting to happen. Most people may not care to see Tegan Nox, but I think they should refine her and make her more of an aggressor as opposed to this nice person. I think that will fit her a lot more. She doesn't have to go all the way heel, but be a little bit more of an aggressive face, kind of like a tweener like Becky Lynch is in that area, because we got a lot of heels in WWE right now. We don't need 100% full heels. It's starting to get to that point. But I think that would be a great 4-4-4-4. Now, if they had a fifth member, I think the fifth member of their group will have to be between two people, and I believe one of them more than the other. And it'll be something just for this match, kind of like, I don't know if you guys remember when NXT had War Games and Kevin Owens was the surprise member of that group. That didn't mean that he was going back to NXT, because this was at an NXT takeover. It doesn't mean he was part of NXT. He was just a part of that match. So this person, I think it should be one or two people. I feel like that if she's healthy enough, and this is just random. This is just random, guys. This is not, I don't have any reason to even pick these two people, but they don't have a lot of women in SmackDown. I think that they will allow to be a part of this match. It has to be someone from NXT. And the person I believe it should be from NXT, it probably should be Roxanne Perez, or it could be, if it's three people, Roxanne Perez, Nikita Lyons, or Tiffany Stratton. And I don't think it'll be Tiffany Stratton because she's supposed to be a heel. It wouldn't make any sense for her to be in that match unless she wants to turn on somebody who's a part of her team and then start a feud with her when she gets called up. That would make all the sense in the world. But Roxanne Perez, I think that would make sense for her to come up and be a part of this team as well. She was already on the main roster and not officially, but she had a match. And I think it would work well. I think that would make sense, you know, just to kind of give her a little bit more, you know, shine. Because I can't think of anyone else out of her, Nikita Lyons, and Tiffany Stratton that will work in this situation, in my personal opinion, unless they put Valkyria, that, because she's the champion. So that would make sense just off of her just being a champion and giving her more light. Then yeah, that would make all the sense. So it has to be one of those four ladies. But for me, I think that would make sense for that to happen. But I think at the end of the day, if it is going to be Tegan Nox in that group, I think if they're going to not allow Dakota Kai to be a part of this match due to her injury, you got to have Tegan Nox try to get revenge on her to kind of, you know, play her out of this situation, to get her injured, you know, so she won't be a distraction, you know, quote unquote injured due to her injury. But I think that's the way to do it. What do you guys think? Who do you guys think should be the other two or maybe three members of Team Bianca Belair? Let me know in the comment section. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Salute. Peace. Have a good day.